Hello and welcome. It is 6 o'clock, which is the 6 o'clock club, and it's a big hello from me, Andy from Twisted Narrative, and my co-collaborator here.
Hello, everybody. Kristian here from my office.
And Kristian is really doing all of the heavy lifting tonight.
I know. No pressure on me, is there?
Well, we will see. We will see. You've got me as a player again, and you
I
did mention
know.
earlier about losing all your hair because of the last time.
Yeah, I had a full head of hair before I started playing in Andy's games and having Andy as a player. So
it's going to be absolutely fine. I'm so excited. I want
me
to
too.
say a big hello to everybody in chat as well. So far, shouting up, we've got Matt, we've got Brooks, we've got Chris. Hello, Chris. And we have Brooks again. Brooks is very vocal as usual.
Double shout out for
Yeah,
Brooks.
thank you very much. It's really good to have you along. Um, so, what we normally do as we warm up on the 6 o'clock club is speak about last night's game. There wasn't one because it was Monday, so that is done and dusted. So let us turn our attentions to what we are going to do tonight. Before we do that, Cara has jumped straight in. Just after Kyle, hi Kyle, and says, Andy, are you going to be a difficult or nice player? Well, I mean, as a player, I'm going to be extremely nice. I mean, to be serious for one moment, um, I'm going to twist it somewhat because it is twisted narrative. I personally think a game is only as good as the players that you've got in them. So that's a big shout out to our community and our players. And in no way is it taking the glory away from Kristian when this is a magnificent game tonight. The reason why it's a huge success is because, of course, the players that we've got are going to be absolutely awesome. So I'm going to be the best player I can possibly. I'm going to be um, stopping at every single door and asking, is it locked? Can I listen? I still think it's trapped, even though I've checked
Wrong,
it.
wrong system. Wrong system.
Uh,
Wrong
that,
system.
is there no doors in Doskville?
No, they got rid of doors. There's a law against doors. They call it the door law.
Yeah, you see what I've done there in a roguish game where everybody's going to do roguish things. Suddenly, I've taken all the doors off their hinges. What you're going to tell me now is it's not doors, it's gates, iron bars, and everything else, but not
Well,
doors.
there'll be no iron bars tonight.
Iron bars.
Although there might be a lot of cockneys because that's a voice I could do quite well.
Yeah. Now, I'm super excited. I'm going to find it quite uncomfortable, really, or unusual, because I'm used to doing a lot of talking as a GM. I don't want to do that tonight, but I do want to play. I do want to embrace the character that I'm playing.
So
Uh,
what's going through your mind then as a prospective player? I mean, when was the last time you were a player in a
well, it
game?
was probably your last game.
My game.
Yeah.
So that was just to give everyone a bit of a background. So actually, Brooks has just asked the same thing. When was the last time? So last time Andy was a player in a game was potentially in my Shadowrun game, which was at Chimera all those years ago before I left to go up north. And so I think we rounded that off in 2015.
Yeah.
So yes, probably 2015 was the last
8 years.
time.
8 years
Yeah.
ago. Fantastic game. Really loved it.
Yeah, you drive a Cadillac off the Space Needle and kill the dragon with a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. I
Same
mean,
same event. It was
as
a
you do,
cracking game.
as you do. Um, so yeah, I want to enjoy the story. I've got a character. I'm very excited to play this. The character itself isn't a problematic character. I've deliberately designed him for that. So it's going to want to do the jobs that you put in front of us. That's a positive. it's very easy to play a character that goes, I'm going to ignore all of the plot because
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a different direction. I mean, that's great in a campaign sometimes, but in a one shot, you kind of need all of the players to be going, well, let's engage with what we're given to
Yes.
to make the story sort of flow along somewhat. So not sort of problematic in that way. Um, um, Interesting, but I've deliberately not played a social character, or rather a character with direct social skills.
Yes.
It would be very easy for me to choose to play a character that would be doing schmoozing and kind of interacting and everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I like role playing. I like political intrigue and social interaction. But I do that a lot as a GM. And
Yes.
again, I don't want to sort of dominate or kind of lead the rest of the players in the group. My character's not a leader either. Um, it's not necessarily going to put the spanner in the works and not go against what is decided, but they're not a natural leader. So I don't see my character fitting into a position of of
Okay.
of, of doing
Yeah.
that. The character's intelligent, though, so can help with ideas and is interested in ideas and what we're going to do and is task orientated. So sort of a team player as well. So all of those kind of positive things that you kind of want for a player that's not going to be that fly in the ointment or whatever. He's got his foibles and the like. Um, and I think that's going to be the interesting part to play out.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know whether that answers your question.
It does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. I guess kind of to relate to that, I wasn't a player for many years. I think I might have spoken about this on previous 6 o'clock clubs. And I have once I started DMing, and well, once I left Nottingham, I started to be a bit of a forever DM.
Yeah,
And it wasn't until I joined the Twisted Narrative server and started to joined in the Eberron game that I actually became a player again. And I find that I do sometimes have a DM's hat on, and not in that I want to be a rules lawyer, because you know me and my view on rules,
yeah,
but I see those story things, I see those plot hooks, and I'm like, I want to hang on to those, please. I really want to hang on to those because I find, I see plot that's been put in for us. I see the intrigue that sort of the world that you've spun and the situations that you've spun, and I think I really want to latch onto that and not always. I mean, sometimes I do like to go on a tangent, but I like to follow the plot that's there, because partly because that little voice in my head is saying that's plot. And it might be that's probably is a kind of metagaming, really. You've lost us. You've
yeah.
lost us.
No, I know the tech is
Oh dear.
going good. Now
Is
carry on
this?
talking.
Oh no, I was going to say, do we put the little test card up of the child with the creepy clown
Yeah.
and the thing, and having him make a loud, high pitched noise? Beep.
So
No.
yeah, this is interesting because we're using a new set of technology, which I was very
Oh
pleased
yeah.
about, and it
Was.
was working very nicely.
It'll be all right on the night.
There you go, we're
Hang
back.
on, it is the night. No, yeah, I forget. We're 30 seconds behind.
Yeah,
Things are going weirder. It's fine. So, but tonight I'm also going to say, so this is the first live actual play I've run.
yeah,
So I've been a part of one before, when you did 3 hours to kill,
yeah,
which I really enjoyed. That was quite a while ago now. In fact, I was in that just after starting Eberron. But I've not run one, so it's really exciting for me because it's not something. This is new for me.
yeah.
I've run one shots. I've done a few one shots, And as always, it's just that pacing and making sure that, you know, things are moving along as kind of you foresee them. But Blades in the Dark's a really interesting one because in theory, I haven't got a prescribed, this is the start, this is the middle, this is the end. I've got a start and a potential end, and in the middle is a situation. And I kind of know how that situation resolves in the there's a thing you have to achieve. But what that is, what you do, where you go, I really don't know. So that's a balance as a GM to try and get right.
Yeah.
And hopefully tonight I get it right, and we don't end up with sort of in 10 minutes you're like, we're going in, we're going to steal the idol, and we're off. There's no idols,
Yeah.
but we're going to go in, we steal idol, and we're off. And I go, oh dear, that's well, I guess we goes to the song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, one of the great things about Blades in the Dark is that if we do complete a score that rapid, we can always do another one. You know
There
what
are
I
more
mean?
scores. There are more scores
And
indeed.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's like even random tables at the back of the book that you can kind of just go, oh right, so this is, and it's a good point. Whilst you as the storyteller, the GM, got the overview and the control and can kind of tweak and push or cajole. Quite a lot of the heavy lifting is kind of done with the players sort of deciding. And what I'm intrigued with is whether we as players do a lot of role playing amongst ourselves, because things with heist or missions, like mission orientated kind of things like this, is you can get focused on doing the job, and it's like, well, right, we'll go in, we'll do this. And I know you don't really need to do a lot of planning, but it's like, okay, then let's move things forward and go this. But I'm actually quite interested to explore Duskfall. Maybe meet with sort of my friend who's the I won't say what, but you know, I think there's potentially room for some quite interesting scenes. Sort of, I sort of, I can't say during the mission because I don't know what the mission is. You don't know what the mission is because, again, I think we get a choice, don't we, in Blades?
You do have a well. I mean, it's kind of you go out and you find your missions, and it's going to be no spoiler to say you will be going out to find the mission.
Yeah.
So you have to go out and find the work, and the work's there for you.
Yeah. No. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. We don't know. I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler. We don't know each other's characters. We know their names. Obviously, we put that on the poster.
No.
And I don't know. I don't know whether you even want us to be aware of
each
other.
Are. I think you all are associates. You're all kind of casual associates. You all know each other through this character, Auntie Helen. So she's the centerpiece of tonight's adventure, really, Auntie Helen. And imagine her as being sort of that East End matriarchal type that is very very loving to the people she cares about, but also very cold to those that have done her wrong. You know, you don't want to be on her bad side, and everyone's family, and you don't let family down.
Excellent. So the characters don't really know each other. So it means that we've got an opportunity to do character descriptions, but also have conversations in character. Sometimes it's quite nice because, like, you kind of go, well, you know, we're on this job. What can you do? You know, what is your purpose?
And you end up with those awkward questions where you're trying to do it in character. So if maybe you were to describe your character as some kind of paradigm, I don't know, say Cutter, or what would you describe as? If you were to give yourself a rating out of, let's say 20 of how strong you are, where would it be? 16, 18?
I'm not fussed, and there is a paragraph in the rule book which fundamentally says, I think it's entitled "Don't Be a Weasel."
Yes, I know. I love that.
Yeah, it's basically saying, enjoy the character you're playing, but play the character what you're playing. You know,
don't talk yourself out of fun.
Yeah. Do what your character would do, rather than go, well, I've got this stat here that's better, so I'll choose to use that instead.
Yeah. And you think I've got 2 dots in that, but it might be that sway is the right thing for you to use.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that you don't have dots, and it actually, the system's built so it doesn't matter if you don't have a stat, because you can do things like push yourself. You take 2 stress, and
which I really like. I mean, I'm forever having players in 5th edition, and this is no criticism of the players in 5th edition that do this, but I find it very, very funny, where they go, right, I'm going to go and I'm going to try and get these to do this, and you go, okay, well, give me a persuasion roll then, but I've got 8 in charisma. I'm rubbish. I can't persuade people. But you've just said you're going to try and do it, so you're kind of saying it as if it's my problem. That you've kind of, and it's not a problem.
Suboptimally is the best.
I love it. I genuinely do. I say it's not a criticism. It's like, enjoy the madness of you trying to go and do that.
Because the dice will tell a story, as you've said before. You could roll amazingly well, or you could roll terribly. And if you roll amazingly well and you've got an 8 as a charisma, that's a really great opportunity for you to maybe not role play it, but describe what your character says and how they say it.
Yeah.
And that sounds like, it's always a lot of fun when that happens.
Absolutely. Don't worry about the fact. Speaking of dice, for me and for people in chat that are going to hopefully jump across and watch it at 7, tell us how the skills work. If and I'm going to use an example that isn't going to happen because I'm not a martial character, but say I decide and say I was a martial character, and say that, because I know you can't have more than 2 dots in a skill when you start off. I say, right, there's a blue coat. Blue coats tend to be the militia, I believe, in
the police. They're like the police.
There's a Rosa. I want to hit him. How do we resolve that?
I don't know. I haven't read the rule, but no. I was just going to pick it up as I went. No.
That's okay.
Well, first you pick the skill. So you would say, I'm going to skirm. I'm going to do a skirmish. Or you could say, I'm going to wreck him. That's a bit more fatal.
Okay, I'm going to wreck him. I'm going to, because I'm not going to be doing any wrecking in the game tonight. So
going to wreck him. So I'll say, right, how many dots have you got in wreck?
2. I wanted more, dots. But the rule says I couldn't have them.
Well, that's probably for the best. So roll me 2d6. Tell me,
is there any way I can? I really want this to happen.
You want an extra one? Well, then you can put. There's different things you can do. First is you can push yourself, where you take 2 stress, which is a commodity that you can have a maximum of 9 in before you take a trauma, and trauma means you're pretty much out of the game. So stress is a commodity. So you can take 2 stress and push yourself. Or if someone else is around that might be able to help you, they can take a stress and give you an extra die. Or you could do a group action where everyone wrecks, but whoever's leading that action, for everyone that gets a failure, they'll take it that many stresses. So those are kind of your options there. Or my personal favorite, you could have a devil's bargain.
That sounds good.
Where I say, well, okay, you can wreck that blue coat, but he is going to fall over. He's going to remember your face. Mm-hmm. And that means you're going to take a level of heat. Mm-hmm. And heat is bad because it's again, another stat effectively that marks how wanted your gang is or how well known your gang is. And once the job is done, you look at the heat, you do roll on a table, and you find out what effects happen to your gang or your associates or your party after the job. And that will be happening tonight.
Yeah.
So, you take heat. So if I say you attack him, but he's going to remember your face and you get heat, what do you say? Do you take that extra dice?
Of course I do. He'll be remembering my face in hospital. That's what he'll be doing. He's going to have a good 3 weeks to speak to the, and I'm going to show him my face. I'm going to say, like, when you speak to your artist to get my, just make sure you get me good side right. And
here's my address.
Yeah.
So you can get the artist to come round.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as he's looking at my face, I headbutt him straight square in the nose.
So then I would ask, can you roll me 3d6?
I can do, because I've got
brilliant
dice.
And tell me the highest number that you get on any one of them.
I've got a 5.
So you get a 5. Brilliant. Yeah. So if you'd had a 1, 2, or 3 as the maximum number you got, that's an automatic fail.
All right.
Now, depending on which position you're in, so normally your position is risky, could be controlled, risky, or desperate. Determines kind of the effect that you have. More to do with the consequences. So let's say this is risky. So if you had a 6, you'd have just succeeded. You'd have knocked him out, no problems. You still would have taken the heat.
Yeah.
If you'd roll, so you rolled a 5, so a 4 or 5 is a success with a complication.
Right.
So in this case, the complication is something that I have to come up with on the fly. Now, thankfully, there are many, many things that can help, such as these sheets. So in this case, you headbutt him.
Yeah.
But you've taken a level 2 harm, broken nose.
Right. Okay.
Because you've headbutted him, but there's a consequence.
Yeah.
So maybe not a level 2, maybe level 1 harm. You're dazed, something like that. But you've taken harm.
Yeah.
So that's now one of your boxes of damage filled up because you've headbutted this guy. You're dazed. He's gone down because you succeeded, but you've taken something back personal as well. And consequences could be anything. They could be ticking a clock, could be taking more heat. They could be taking harm, could be surrounded. There's any number of things that could happen as a consequence. But that's the beauty of the system.
Yeah.
It's not designed for players to take a walk in the park. It's designed to be challenging.
Yeah.
And it's given the game master a lot of techniques and things that you can do to help to figure out what you need to do. But it's completely designed around constantly threatening the characters. You don't want the characters to be in a controlled position where they suffer minor consequences and everything like that. You want them to be in a desperate position all the time. You want them to be in a risky position.
Yeah.
You want them to be really trying to push themselves. So you roll the number of dots. If you hadn't have had any dots in rec, then you would have rolled 2d6 and taken the lowest.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that because one of my stats tonight, I haven't got anything in because you've got 3, is it attributes, insight, prowess, and reserve?
Yes.
And if you don't have any skills underneath one of those, you basically don't have anything in those. So,
nope.
That's interesting. I'm a fan of negative dice as we play in sort of feng shui.
Yes, it's all about. I mean, it's about encouraging people as well to know, and this is about with Don't Be a Weasel. Don't think just because you don't have a dot in it, you can't give it a go. Because if you push yourself, it's going to be, you could get great results. You take some stress. And again, group actions are really good ways to make sure something you really want to happen happens, because then everyone rolls. You take the best result, single result from everyone. But again, the person leading takes stress.
Yeah. Equal
to the number of failures. So you might take no stress. You could, in this instance, you've got 4 players. You could take 4 stress. It's entirely down to whoever does it and what you want to do. But I said it's going to be a really, 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 I think it's going to be a fun one tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interesting things that can happen. I've got some interesting characters. If depending on which way you go, I've got some fun things. And most importantly, I really hope that all the players enjoy it, because I like to run games for players to enjoy. And I hope people watching enjoy it tonight, because, it's something that this might sound a little weird, but speaking online and B, speaking publicly doesn't actually come very naturally to me. It's something I've spent years working on, and I get really, really nervous. And I don't get stage fright anymore, but I used to. But I've been on stage quite a lot, and so thankfully that's kind of helped. But yeah, it does. I am slightly nervous going into this, but I do hope everyone has a good time. Hope it's enjoyable, and I hope I don't say the word I'm not supposed to say.
No, it's a very good point. It doesn't come naturally to me either. And I think all GMs suffer from some kind of pre-game anxiety, but it's very much kind of focusing and converting that nervous energy into
Yes.
adrenaline. And the thing to remember, the thing that I have to constantly tell myself every game that I run is everybody's here to have a good time. They're not here. They're not here because they don't want to be here. They want to be here to have fun.
Yeah. And remember, everyone's a player.
Yeah,
including the GM.
Absolutely.
And I some of the best games I've had in your games have been the ones where it seems like you're having a whale of a time.
Yeah.
And those have been always the best nights because they're ones that I know that we're all enjoying the game. And my best nights at the gym have the beans where I've really enjoyed it, and I've the players have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it, and not been that I've put together my thing. So very, very recently in the game, I say very recently, it's probably last year actually, in the game I've been running, there was one of the sessions was the party, the Adventurers Guild, putting on a theatre show.
Yeah.
And that was the night, and it was amazing because people came up with different things to do. There was an Eldritch puppet show run by Rachel's character. There was a whole big stage thing going on, being run by the Bard, who is a very theatrical character, and others were kind of looking around because there was some skullduggery happening at the same time, and it was a really, really great evening. And that one stuck in my mind because I had a way of a time because I didn't know what was coming. I knew what they'd planned. One of the characters got the nickname Hog Roast after that night because that's what they were manning, and everyone just kept chanting Hog Roast, Hog Roast. It was a really fun night, and that one stuck in my mind for quite a long time because again, it was just a whale of a time.
Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. I mean, it sort of when the players really embrace it and it creates a life of its own, that's when it's most magical. I think it really is. It really is. So we are going to bring the 6 o'clock club show. I can call it that, can't I? Because 6 o'clock club show.
Because we're a club,
yeah,
and this is the show.
Absolutely.
We talk about the club.
To a slightly earlier end because we've got tech to sort out. I've learned a very good lesson. Don't click on Discord mid-show because it causes everything to freeze. Easily put back together.
Don't click on anything.
Well, I need to swap to the chat because one of the things I will be doing because I'm a player and I don't need to be reading my notes and sorting the players and doing everything else. I can look at the chat tonight a little bit. I will say though, although we will be monitoring the chat, we want to stay in character or in game, so we won't really be doing any kind of chat shouts outs and things like that. We might do a quick little thing maybe halfway through. Planning to have a sort of midway 5-10 minute break, but we won't kill the stream. We'll keep it going, and we might interact with chat a little bit in terms of typing rather than conversation.
Yes, and make sure we will be reading it though, and I will go through everything everyone says afterwards with a fine-tooth comb and over-analyzing it, so be careful what you say.
Be kind, I think what Kristian means. Be kind. we are a
Yeah,
club.
you could say that as well.
We're
No, I will accept. I will accept any criticism, constructive or unconstructive, and you know, I will be grateful for any feedback anyone's got.
yeah.
Because again, I feel really, really lucky that Andy's trusted me to do this. And, you know, I want to make sure that he doesn't think that he's an idiot or that I'm an idiot.
Well, firstly, you've got this. That's Jem's inspiration. And
Oh, great.
secondly, you may not be an idiot, but I know already I'm an idiot. Not because of doing this, but just generally. That is how I live my life.
Because you're going to live, apparently, according to Cara, signed photos of yourself at every crime scene,
Well,
which
yeah.
I am very much looking forward to.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And thirdly, I want to say thank you to chat for noticing the t-shirt I am sporting, especially for this stream tonight.
I'm Benny.
I am Batman. Unfortunately, I'm going to be a good player and a good person, and this is the only relevance or commitment I'm going to be doing tonight to that. So please, give this stream a like and subscribe if you've liked it. Um, um, we're going to finish now, and then we're going to start up the new stream, the actual play at 7 o'clock. So please remember that. Come and join us again.
Yep.
It's going
Join
to
on
be
the other one.
Yeah, it's going to be an awful lot of fun.
Or a lot of awful fun.
Or probably both. So for the moment, thank you very much for hanging out with us for half an hour in the club. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Actually, Kristian can't make it.
No, I've got a work thing.
Nah, it's okay. Real life is always more important. I know you'd rather
Yeah.
be here, but life is life. So I'll be answering questions. I might get an impromptu guest to come on if anybody's interesting for tomorrow night, as we might chat about what happened tonight, or we might answer some of your questions. In the meantime, stay safe, look after each other, and please, I very much hope to see you at 7 tonight. In the meantime, it's bye for me for now, and I'm sure Kristian.
Goodbye.
We will catch you all